Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, evening or afternoon or day, night, whatever it may be for you. Aren't you picking anything up? No? Okay. Sorry, the stream software was doing weird stuff, as usual. So, I was thinking, which is always a bad thing, that I am not going to have power for most of the day. So, I need to make some content for today. Not necessarily for the main channel, there is content for that, but for the shorts channel. Haven't made any today, but I also have absolutely no idea what to make for the shorts channel. To be honest, the voodoo that is the shorts channel confuses the hell out of me. Because I have no idea. It doesn't perform in any way the same as a normal videos and normal description. It's not the same. Nothing's the same. It's something new. Good morning, Dodo, Vanandi. How you doing? But I thought yesterday we did some editing, so today we might as well do some of the other processes that I do, like the recording. But recording for a normal video will take way too long. What we can do is record for a shorts. So this is my shorts channel. My second channel, which is linked in the description. Maybe. Yeah. Now, what I'm confuzzled by completely, I've been experimenting, trying to see what will and won't work and all of that. I mean, some of them do well with a couple hundred views, and then some of them barely get 2. So we can see I started off with just narrating. And these got hardly anything. I did one horror narration, I got about 200, which you can't see on the screen. Then I started integrating gameplay. So there's some Amongst Us with a horror reading, and then a bunch of Minecraft. And these did well, especially the poem. That seemed to do very well. Good morning, Fallen. How you doing? But then yesterday, I released a video with no narration, just a basically a music video based off Valheim. Maybe I can actually, let me just make sure it's in the description. Edit. It's still got the description. Okay, hold on a second. Uno momento. OBS, the streaming software, has integrated new features, shall we call them, so that when you connect, you can set up your stream on connecting through the software rather than having to do it beforehand, which is nice in theory. But I had a pre-set up thing that I used for my stream, so I didn't have to redo it every single day. But OBS doesn't see that. So we'll just make sure that the new descriptor works. Gotcha. Okay. And second channel dash Blammo. Okay, now it is definitely in the description down below. I'll even post it in the chat. Okay, so we were cheerfully creating content, but then I went and I looked at a bunch of shorts, specifically gaming ones, and one of the more popular ones is kind of a skit in Amongst Us, or with Amongst Us, but there's no words, which to me makes sense, because then if there's no words, it applies to a larger audience. So I did my Peaceful Viking skit. No words, just music. And then I also did another SCP, 200 words in 1 minute, with Minecraft background. These were both posted. Okay, that one was 10 hours ago. This is 14 hours ago. Now, the biggest challenge in figuring out what's working is it seems to take 12 hours for the system to do anything with it. Like, oh, nope. Let me just change my count. I thought the Viking one was funny as well. And no, I can't do anything about the management tool in Google does not have a dark mode. So this is what analytics look like. This one isn't showing what I wanted to show though. So we go look at SCP-002. I know it's bright and I do apologize. But there's not much I can do about it. So you got the usual thing, description, title, but the analytics show, you see this just block of blam views. All of them are like that. Every single one. And yeah, I have no idea why. But it's always about 12 hours after the video is released that this happens. You get a whole whack and then nothing. So that's interesting. Apparently title matters, but nobody can tell me what title or how the naming convention works. No worries, Fallen. Most of my content takes part early in the game, like the music video. It's quite early on in the game, same with the Arrow one, but it's all good. So, I mean, the Valheim one was released 14 hours ago and it's got 5 whole views, which for a normal video is fine. But the previous 4 videos in 12 hours got 400 views. So I have no idea. I was as well. And I don't know why. I'm not denouncing your poem, it was a good poem, but what brings people to get the initial view is the thumbnail and title, I think. They stay to listen to the poem, but to draw them in, and you can't choose your thumbnail, it's automatically generated. So, I don't know what happened to make that one more popular than the others. But the cool thing is it still has a 100% upvote rate with 1,000 views. So I was thinking we shall make a shorts video. And then the other thing, content wise, which I downloaded and hadn't actually done anything with, is there is a guy, streamer, I can't remember his name. But he spent a lot of money making royalty-free music, and he gives it away for free. Anybody can use it. You just need to do something, reference them in some way. But they just recently released a rock album, and I downloaded it. So this is outside of the normal music that we listen to. Yeah, I don't know. It seems to be very beta-ish at the moment and doing very weird stuff, and it's very hit and miss. So I thought to start off today, we'll get Peachan to sit in the corner quietly. She might moan later, but might moan now, but and listen to some of this new music I got, which could help with videos and it could not. So this is Stream Beats rock music. It's free music, you can go download it if you want. And they have instrumental version of this album, and they have a full album. So I thought that was interesting. But they also have lofi beats and rap and all sorts of genres. So the SCP stuff doesn't seem to be doing too terribly great, which kind of makes sense. It's difficult to get across SCP, but the poem did okay. Well, the poem did well. The algorithm is not just a tad bit drunk, it is seriously drunk. Well, if he's getting enough donations and direct support to do the Euro stuff, then I don't see why not. It's difficult. I mean, I do this as a living and it's not easy. I mean, if I expand it out, which I have thought of doing, it would be with stories. It would be fiction. So SCP, it may or may not be a good fiction, but it is still at least fiction. Other things I was thinking of was looking for entertaining word prompts, which is still fiction. There's another subreddit called Short Stories, just to widen the net of the fiction that I do. But the bread and butter of my channel is standard HFY stuff and Royal Road, and I think that will always be the base of my channel. But I can tell you that HFY content has gone down in views over the last month, which might be why he's doing other stuff. I'm probably getting half the views that I was in December. Also, January is, for ad revenue, a very tough month. So, For us small narrators, or us small channels, I suppose you do what content you think is going to bring in some money. Well, there are numerous reasons. But when you're on a small channel and you've gone from December getting X amount of views, and then suddenly in January you're getting half of that, it's easy to panic. And then you also have the drop in ad revenue, which also is another cause for panic. Me, I was just worrying about getting my voice back up and running, so I didn't have time to panic about that. So, I mean, I'm experimenting with shorts and he's experimenting with more adult content. It's fun. I always knew that HFY and Royal Road were niche. And somehow in my head, I've had the upper limit of where the amount of subscribers you could get is about 10,000. For both of those. I don't know whether that's true or it's just sucked directly out of my thumb, but that's where my mind is. It's about, you're going to cap out at 10,000 for both platforms. Well, then you can send me stuff. I'll give it a read. I mean, offline. Or I can do it on a stream. And then decide. Problem with No Sleep, which is popular, but because it's popular, there is so much crap you have to deal with to do the No Sleep stuff. You're fighting with bigger creators, you're fighting with the authors, you're fighting with everyone. So I'd rather avoid that stuff. SCP is nice because it's all Creative Commons, so I don't have to ask for permission from anyone to do anything. Yeah, I mean, even the short scary stories, I had some issues with there. Compared to that, dealing with the HFY guys, it's been a pleasure. Same with the Royal Road guys. Now Royal Road's got all the audiobooks happening, so it's a crapshoot if you choose to do a specific story, whether that's going to have to be yoinked off the site because of audio contracts. I'm glad for the authors, but I still also got to have to consider my own channel and growth. And this Stream Beats music isn't too bad. Generic rock. Don't know, Fallen. But it's companies, so they've got authors that they work with, voice actors or narrators, whatever you want to call them, that they work with. I would put myself up on Yeah, I can't even put myself on ACX, which is the audiobook slash narrator website, because I can't sign up from this country. And technically to not put in my actual details would be fraud, so I can't do official audiobook stuff there. I was kind of thinking maybe I do a private job, but I'm not entirely sure about that. It's a tough call. I mean, what content do you do? What content don't you do? What stories do you read? What not? One-shots do better than series every time. So there's that. So when you do a series, you know that it's not going to do as well. I did. I saw that, Anton. Good for him. Any idea what SCP is? I'm not looking for. Back. Angry dog. Dragon? No idea, Anton. They just don't allow it. They allow you if you're in Europe, they allow you if you're in the States, and they allow you if you're in Australia, but not if you're from Africa. 1762. Aha, that's why it's not showing up here. It is season 2. On 762. Where the dragons are at. Went. That one. Oh, it's a short one. Okay, you can't see the pop-up, but I've got an add-on on my browser which allows me to check the word count or something. Now, I normally just do the containment procedure and then the description. Well, if I want to do it with the shorts, then I don't have to edit it down to a short one. I mean, for my normal videos on my normal channel, this whole thing would be a 4-minute video. So it would be part of a bigger video. But for a shorts, it's almost worth it. I mean, if I edit it down, I might be able to get the whole thing into a shorts. Let me just give it a quick read. I'll even do it a quick read first time out loud. Mildly depressing, does this? So, item SCP-1762, object class, safe, neutralized. Special containment procedure, SCP-1762-1 is held in a standard containment unit on site unknown. During the periods when SCP-1762-1 releases SCP-1762-2, video logs are to be recorded for future research. Although instances of SCP-1762-2 have been deemed harmless, they should not be allowed to exit the containment unit. Description: SCP-1762-1 is a plain cardboard box that is 32 centimeters by 20 centimeters by 26 centimeters. It's spray painted silver and the interior and the exterior, and the words "Here be dragons" are handwritten in black permanent marker on the lid of the container. Opening the lid of the SCP-1762-1 when it is not in the process of releasing reveals it to be empty. SCP-1762-1 will infrequently open and initiate the release of SCP-1762-2. During this time, the box will briefly emit a large amount of black smoke that quickly dissipates. It takes on average 20 seconds for SCP-1762-2 to emerge after the smoke clears. SCP-1762-2 is a collective term applied to the beings that emerge from SCP-1762-1. All instances of SCP-1762-2 bear resemblance to various types of dragons in both Eastern and Western depictions, albeit in forms similar to that of origami models. Analysis of SCP-1762-2 reveals that they are composed of kami paper. After accepting SCP-1762-1, instances of SCP-1762-2 will fly together in large groups and interact playfully with any nearby personnel and each other. SCP-1762-2 vary in length from 9 to 30 centimeters, or are capable of sustained flight once they exit SCP-1762-1, and have been recorded attaining a speed of 15 kilometers an hour. The numbers of SCP-1762-2 varies with each opening of SCP-1762-1, with the numbers ranging from 50 to over 100. After approximately 2 to 3 hours of time spent outside of SCP-1762-1, all instances of SCP-1762-2 return to fly back into 1762-1. During this time, SCP-1762-1 will once again begin emitting black smoke, and instances of SCP-1762 will vanish after passing the rim of SCP-1762-1. SCP-1762-1 closes once all SCP-1762-2s have returned to it, and the next date release is inconsistent. A message written uncarved into the varying materials will sometimes materialize on top of SCP-1762-1's lid once the box retrieves all instances of SCP-1762-2. Attempts to send a message or a crawled device back with SCP-1762 have revived negative results. These documents are their appropriate dates of appearance are being compiled and recorded. Yeah, I mean, the music I just chose because it was new music. There is a instrumental version. But what we just listened to was What If It... So that's what we just listened to. And that's the lyrical one. There should also be a... okay, What If... What if number 5? And then this is the instrumental version, so no lyrics. So I think I'll add this music into, or the instrumental into Pichon's repertoire. Adding in sound effects and visual effects adds so much time to it. Some of the stories in the beginning of the year, I tried getting like the mood of the music to change with what was happening in the story. That ends up taking as much time to get it right as is recording it. Which, my channel is dedicated to producing a lot of content. So I try save as much time in as many places as I can. Even just adding the scrolling text adds an hour of work a day for me when I'm releasing 4 videos or 5 videos, and it's not a particularly intensive process. Morning Sapphire, how you doing? Okay, so I think what we'll do, if you guys are vaguely interested, I don't use a standard recording process. True, true. Okay, so 200 words should be about there. I'm going to copy this. We need to drop a third of this if we want it for a short. I will be heading to writer. Paste it there. Just a second. Not quite go fast. I don't think I'm quite capable of 300 words in a minute. It's a touch fast for me. I can do about 200. So we're going to edit this down just a little bit. One of the things, SCP dash blah 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 blah. You don't need to reference that every single time. We'll just call it -1. I might be destroying some canon here, but we need to save time where we can. suppose I could just find it and replace. I don't need to. We're replacing all of that with a -2 and a space. And we're replacing all of that with a -1. And a space. Except for the first instance, where we'll list the whole name. And that leaves us with still a lot of words. Sometimes, if I'm doing it for the one the was a ship that put to sea. The name of the ship was the Billy O. Okay, it's very random. Sea shanty. Only for the really short content. She'd not been 2 weeks from shore when down on her a right whale bore. The captain called all hands and swore he'd take that whale. I had this song stuck in my head the other day. It was annoying. Come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Before the boat had hit the water, the whale's tail came up and caught her. All hands to the side, harpooned and fought her when she dived down low. Soon may the wellermen come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. No line was cut, no whale was freed. The captain's mind was not on greed, but he belonged to the whaleman's creed. She took that ship in tow. Soon may the wellermen come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. For 40 days or even more, the line went slack, then tight once more. Our boats were lost, there were only 4, and still that whale did go. Soon may the wellermen come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. As far as I've heard, the fight's still on. The line's not cut and the whale's not gone. The wellerman makes his regular call to encourage the captain, crew and all. Soon may the wellermen come to bring us sugar and tea and Thank you for popping past, Jacob. It's very much appreciated. Sorry this isn't the normal gaming stream. No worries, Jacob. I can do that. I think we'll do this one as a main channel video then, if we want to include all of that stuff. And if we're including all that stuff, then I can just read it. I don't have to edit it. So we'll open up this screen again. Close that screen. Okay, this is my audio recording software. It is Audacity. It's free to use. Nothing spectacular. I'll just move that around. Come on. There we go. So normally, beginning of a recording, you take a 10-second blank recording so that you can get a noise profile. Well, it will be here in the morning. Well, I suppose more morning for you, Dodo. Right. So we're getting a noise profile. That just picks up the audio noise from the microphone, pulls a noise suppression, which I'll apply at the end again. And this music that's currently playing won't be recorded. It only records my microphone. I can add in the music later for whatever I want.
SCP-1762. Item number SCP-1762. Object class safe, neutralized. Special containment procedures. SCP-1762-1 is held in a standard containment unit in Site Unknown. During the
Sorry, I didn't mean to clear my throat in your ears. Forgot that I was streaming for a second. My voice is still kind of warming up for narration. Normally I don't have my mic on when I do that. Really? Just random anime music. Okay.
Site Unknown. During the periods when SCP-1762-1 releases SCP-1762-2, video logs are to be recorded for future research. Although instances of SCP-1762-2 have been deemed harmless, they should not be allowed to exit their containment unit. Description: SCP-1762 is again a cardboard box that is 32 centimeters by 20 centimeters by 26 centimeters. It is spray painted silver with the interior and exterior, and the words
I've been doing it on the other channel for the last week. I've been doing quick readings. And this particular one I'll do on the main channel because it was a request. So.
Interior and exterior. It is spray painted silver with the interior and exterior. Spray painted silver with the interior and exterior. And the words, "Here be dragons," are handwritten on black permanent marker on the lid of the container. Opening the lid of SCP-1762-1 when it is not in the process of release reveals it to be empty. SCP-1762-1 will infrequently open and initiate the release of SCP-1762-2. During this time, the box will briefly emit a large amount of black smoke that quickly dissipates. It takes an average of 20 seconds for SCP-1762-2 to emerge after the smoke clears. SCP-17262-2 is the collective term applied to the beings that emerge from SCP-1762-1. All instances of SCP-1762-2 bear a resemblance to various types of dragons, in both Western and Eastern depictions, albeit in forms similar to that of origami models. Analysis of SCP-1762-2 reveals that they are composed of comic paper. After exiting SCP-1762-1, instances of SCP-1762-2 will fly together in large groups and interact playfully with any nearby personnel and each other.
Time travel! Woo!
At each other.
Let me just lower this music a bit so you guys can hear the playback. Like I said, again, this music is not being recorded. Only the audio of my microphone. So if I pause the music and play,
fly together in large groups and interact playfully with any nearby personnel and each other.
You can hear that it's not picking up the music because that's playing through speakers, not microphone.
At each other.
But the music is there just to hide dead spots.
Personnel at each other. SCP-1762-2 vary in length from 9 to 30 centimeters. All are capable of sustained flight once they exit SCP-1762-1 and have been recorded attaining speeds of 15 kilometers per hour. The number of SCP-1762-2 varies with each opening of SCP-1762-1, with the numbers ranging from 50 to over 400. After approximately 2 to 3 hours of time spent outside of SCP-1762-1, all instances of SCP-1762-2 return and fly back to SCP-1762-1. During this time, SCP-1762-1 will open again, beginning... SCP-1762-1 will once again begin emitting smoke, and instances of SCP-1762-2 will vanish after passing the rim of SCP-1762-1. SCP-1762-1 closes once all SCP-1762-2 have returned to it. The next date of release is inconsistent. A message written or carved into the varying material will sometimes materialize on top of SCP-1762-1's lid once the box retrieves all the instances of SCP-1762-2. Attempts to send a message or recording device back with SCP-1672 Attempts to send a message or recording device back with SCP-1762-2 have produced negative results. These documents and their appropriate dates of appearance are being compiled and recorded. Addendum 1762-1 on unknown of the unknown 20 unknown SCP-1762 SCP-1762-1 began to undergo a series of events that lasted 11 months and 28 days. These events, as well as the prior incident that led up to the beginning of the scenario, have now been classified under the title The Jabberwocky Event. End of file. End of file.
Alright, so that is the basic recording of a thing. If you watch my live stream, it's not that dissimilar, except I do go back and I edit out the mistakes. Step number next, we remove the noise using the 10 seconds of static that we recorded earlier. Which you can't see because this only captures windows and not pop-ups. I think I might have to play with the settings to find the right thing. So there's the noise filter.
SCP-1762.
If it's too noisy, this thing will distort the audio a bit.
Item number SCP-1762. Object class safe, neutralized.
Okay. Then the next thing we do is let me just do something quickly. I really don't like doing this, but we shall do it because it will make life easier for everybody watching. Okay. So what I've done there is I've just shared my screen. Woohoo! You can see what items I have stuck to my taskbar. But now you should also be able to see the pop-ups that I keep talking about. So that was noise reduction. Now we're going to throw in a noise gate as well. There are some popping sounds normally from the beginning of speech that will make it past a noise filter. So I normally throw on a noise gate just to cut that out. It does drop the level of the whole thing, but we'll compensate that in the next couple actions. So if we listen now.
SCP-1762. Item number SCP-1762. Object class safe, neutralized. Special.
You can hear there's no static or anything. You can even see it in the visualization here, that in between the words we're not picking up random noise. At Nutjob, when I have time. It is 27,000 words, which is a lot of content. I do plan on doing it, but at this point I want to get back to my normal pre-voice strain levels of production, and once I've got that stabilized, I'll move on to doing additional content again. Yeah, the raccoon mages.
SCP-1762. Item number SCP-1762. Object class safe.
Right, so the next thing we do is a bit of equalization. This makes the voice kind of sound more realistic. Cheers, Disorder. Have a good one. Thank you for popping past.
SCP-1762. Item number SCP-1762. Object class safe.
Thank you, Nutjob. I mean, I'll definitely do it. It's on my list of things to do. That's true, Sapphire. I mean, it's getting back to normal, but it's now just strengthening it again, which will take a bit of time. So there you can hear a bit of the difference. There's
SCP-1762.
no equalization, and that's
SCP-1762.
with equalization. So it's got a bit more body to it, a bit more rounded.
SCP-1762.
And the next thing we do is amplify, compress, and amplify again. This acts as a normalization step, which you kind of have to do. Minus 3.5. And you do this so that there's a consistent volume throughout the whole thing. So if there's a spike later on, this process would lower the spike and raise everything else to be of a similar volume.
SCP-1762.
So you can see it hasn't done much to
Item number
the voice.
SCP-1762. Object class safe, neutral.
But you can see there's pretty much consistent height to the audio now. I mean, there's the odd outliers, but it's pretty consistent across the board. And that's what you kind of want. And I opened up this when I was checking earlier. This is the ACX add-on for Audacity, which you need to pass these minimum requirements to be able to upload your audio to ACX, the website I can't use. But I use this add-on as a quality control. So that the one video to the next video, I try to keep it as much consistent as I can. That's why the earlier videos are a lot more inconsistent in volume, not only in between the videos, but also in the actual videos itself. Whereas the newer videos are more normalized, even in between each other, if that makes sense. But here it's complaining about the background is too soft, which doesn't matter for what we're doing because we're going to add in a background track. And seeing as everybody liked the rock and roll one, we shall add the instrumental version. Something like that. You want to lower the volume of the instrumental quite significantly, and then move it to there.
Item number SCP-1762. Object class safe, neutralized.
You don't
Special
want the
containment
background
procedures.
overpowering the foreground.
SCP-1762-1 is held in a standard containment unit in Site Unknown. During the periods when SCP-1762-1 releases SCP-1762-1, when it is not in the process of release, reveals it to be empty. SCP-1762-1 will infrequently open and initiate the release of SCP-1762-2. During this time, the box will briefly emit a large amount of black smoke that quickly dissipates.
And then we'll just copy the audio again and shear it off at the end, like such. So we've got a nice fade out at the end.
Scenario have now been classified under the title The Jabberwocky Event. SCP-1762. Item number SCP.
Next, what we do is... Sometimes I forget to do this step because it's the most ball achy. So, well, the last step is I changed the tempo slightly to match standard. All the literature I can find is you want to be doing narrations and audiobooks at roughly 150 to 160 words per minute. I aim for 155. So I'll speed up and slow down at the appropriate speed. Just to make it a bit more pleasing to the ear. But then the last step is I go through, and I don't know whether there are any here, but you'll see there's just a random blip in the middle there. It's all about the noise filters. So I don't know whether you can see that on the screen. There's a thing there. It's difficult to see, but if I play it, you'll hear it. It's a clicking sound. So we just nix that.
During the period.
Now, thankfully, the audio in this particular case will hide most of those clicks, so I don't have to worry about them. What I am also looking at is here where I've got a join between two segments. Normally, there's a bit of space after the segment because you need to give Audacity about half a second before you record. If you hit the button record and just start speaking at that moment, this is what happens. This is me recording the moment I say something. This is me recording the moment I say something. There's no space there, and oftentimes it'll actually just cut it off, and you'll start off like, this is me recording the moment I say. So when you hear in my videos, and it just sort of sounds me recording the moment I say choppy at the beginning there, it's because I started speaking as I hit the button, rather than waiting half a second. But waiting that half a second adds a bit of an unnatural pause. So whenever we do a join, we just give it a quick once over. Make sure that the pause isn't too big and unnatural. Also, that all would be a place where I would have made a mistake, quite possibly. And when cutting off the end, I might have left a bit of audio at the end. So it might be a noise. I think there's one. If I mute this, you'll hear it. That's me clicking the button to stop the recording.
SCP all are.
So we're just looking for any anomalies in the audio waveforms.
During
Especially in the spaces, because that's where you're going to hear them more.
smoke, and it's
So there, you can see I've cut out a mistake, but I didn't cut it out properly because I wasn't zoomed in all the way. So I've got like the first fraction of a word, and then a beginning of the next sentence. I've got a click. So that's why I check between segments.
known as end of file.
Okay. Want to double check something? We have 437 words. I don't really have that good of a mic. Give me 1 second. I'll tell you now. The mic I used for the first 6 months cost about $10. $20, somewhere around there. It's difficult to price these things between countries and stuff, but it was a no-name brand USB microphone. 2 minutes 49 seconds. I've got a thing on a spreadsheet which works out how long a video should be to sound decent. So I was just doing that. 169 seconds is what it should be. So we're going to go into tempo change. Now, tempo is different from speed because the tempo you can change without changing the pitch of the voice to a degree. What I mean by that is if you speed something up, the pitch goes up, and if you slow something down, the pitch goes down. But if you change the tempo, it is changes the speed of it without changing the pitch. However, I found that it works for 7%. If you go faster or slower than 7%, it starts chopping words.
1762. Item number SCP-1762. Object class safe. SCP-1762-1's lid. Once the box
Just do a
11
quick listen
months
to
and
random
28
things,
days
just to make sure there isn't any
will
chopping.
sustain flight once they exit SCP-1762-1 and have been recorded attaining speeds of 15 kilometers per hour. The number of SCP-1762-2 varies with each opening of SCP.
Sounds good to me. And we save that as a new file, I suppose. Once my computer does something, SCP long form. And this was SCP 1672 description. Naturally, when somebody speaks faster, they sound like they're talking higher pitched. But if I slowed that down or sped that up, the pitch shift would be highly noticeable. So if you wanted to know what I'm using a Samsung C2 C01 microphone, which I think costs $25, and a cheapy interface for the microphone, which I think cost $20 as well. I know the microphone plus the interface cost me 3,000 Rand, which would be roughly $100, $150. But that's me buying, the price would be for me buying it in this country. If you're in America, that'll mean about $50 to $75 for the microphone and interface that I use. So as far as microphones go, it's not the greatest. It's not even, this is listed as one of the worst mics you can use. It's better than a USB, but barely. It's not even as good as a Yeti. And the final step is exporting it as an MP3. And we're going to call this SCP again. Now, more than likely, I can do the case files and the description all in one go, in one video. But I like to record the segments separately. Okay, so we're going with addendum, the Jabberwocky event. It doesn't seem too hard, and then another addendum. Also doesn't seem too long. Okay, we'll do the addendums quickly as well. So, same as before, same procedure. Nice. I think it's with any content related site, there is good content, you just need to find it. And that's always the difficult one. Addendum 1762-1 on Addendum 1762-2 Documentation of the Jabberwocky event. So here you can see that my microphone is actually picking up noise. You can see it if you look at the visualization over there. And that's what the noise filter does, is it gets rid of that. And then the noise gate just removes it entirely. Addendum 1762-2 Documentation of the Jabberwocky event. Document 1762-1 Date obtained unknown of unknown 2004. This is the first recorded instance of SCP-1762-1 opening while contained at site unknown. You have found us, thank you. It has been so long since we last saw each other, friends. The peace has been upheld. The giants and the behemoths have kept their word and have not caused any trouble since your last came... Since you last came and gave the order. We missed your company. How has your family been? Do you still know how to work your room? You are welcome to visit anytime. Document 1762-4, date obtained unknown of unknown 2004.
It's strange to see how much your world has changed. It is even stranger to see how we now appear in this place. In fantasy, we are much bigger. Or maybe you've grown taller. Fantasy is still the same. We hope you can visit us like you used to. Though our room is as grand as ever, it appears yours has shrunken. We do not understand. The rooms were supposed to be maintained, as was our agreement. Please restore the belief. Document 1762-6. Date obtained unknown of unknown 2005. Only 20 instances of SCP-1762-2 appeared during this event. Said instance did not lift off and instead walked slowly on foot for the whole period that they were out of SCP-1762-1. Friends, we apologize for our new members. Friends, we apologize for our few numbers. We have had to remain in fantasy for quite some time. The others are growing impatient. We are trying to keep peace, but please, for all of our happiness, repair the room quickly. We know you are trying. Your family is the most imaginative of us all. Document 1762-14. Date obtained unknown of unknown 20 unknown, along with 10 instances of SCP-1762-2 appearing. 3 balls of yellow crumpled construction paper were expelled from SCP-1762-1. These pieces were observed to shake violently for 5 seconds, then cease all further movement. They were picked up by SCP-1762-2 and returned to SCP-1762-1. The giants were foolish. Your room was not ready to accept them yet. We're sorry, friends. We hope that we can still see you, but time is growing short for our happiness. Document 1762-15. Date obtained unknown of unknown 20 unknown. 5 instances of SCP-1762-2 emerged, carrying said document. They immediately returned to SCP-1762-1 after depositing it on the floor. Tensions are rising. Fantasy is becoming darker. The serpents and the hybrids, are furiously trying to hold them back. But the giants, the elves, wish to strike and make an entrance. They say that your family has grown stupid and ignorant. We hope this is untrue. It would sadden us all greatly to know that you have forgotten. Document 1762-16. Date obtained unknown of unknown 20 unknown. A single red instance of SCP-1762-2 emerged from SCP-1762-1. Its wings were torn and it was noticeably crumpled. It collapsed onto the floor 1 minute later and did not move again. Upon its expiration, the body of SCP-1762-2 rapidly unfolded and revealed a message written on the white side of the paper. War! Goodbye, friends. 2 hours later, SCP-1762-1 opened and emitted flames that reached 2 meters in height and temperatures of 1700 degrees Celsius. Sounds of distant roaring were heard from within SCP-1762-1. At 2000 hours, a large amount of torn paper pieces and paper balls were ejected from SCP-1762-1. Several damaged SCP-1762-2 were also expelled and were deemed deceased on examination. SCP-1762-1 continued to sporadically open and close for the next 6 weeks. During this time, it continued to emit fire as the amount of paper discharged from it steadily decreased. Matter resembling muscle and tissue was constantly expelled from SCP-1762-1 at an increasing frequency. SCP-1762-1 remained closed and inactive for the next 7 months. Document 1762-17. Date obtained unknown of unknown 20 unknown. This document was discovered lying inside the interior of SCP-1762-1. It was written on a parchment, and many of the words had been blurred or stained with blood. Are you still out there, friends? We miss you dearly. Fantasy is no longer safe. Our haven, your beautiful creation, is gone. The giants are dead. The centaurs are dead. The birds have fled. We are going to bury your room. We cannot risk hurting you. This is our goodbye. Maybe one day your family can build another room. This may be a hollow hope, but we will cherish the thought. 1 hour later, SCP-1762-1 began to shake and emit smoke for 15 minutes, after which it began to sag and collapse. Several portions of the box began to char and tear, creating small burn holes throughout. The words, "Here be dragons," on the lid of the box burned away. Document 1762. Date obtained, unknown, of unknown, 20 unknown. This is the final message obtained from SCP-1762-1. It was written in ink on a papyrus scroll, and also depicted a scene of a painted mountainous landscape filled with large trees and waterfalls. A single winged dragon can be seen in the background. It appears to be flying away. The message is written in blank ink on the bottom of the right-hand corner. Master says that we won't see you again. We are sad. We are the remaining others. We once filled each other's heads with dreams and goals. It is so sad that we can't share them any longer. Master says that we have to go. He says he'll make us a new fantasy. He says that you cannot be part of it. We are sad. We love you. We will not forget you. We're scared. Will you forget us? Upon removal of the document 1762-18, salt water began to leak from SCP-1762-1, and the burn marks that covered the container began to disappear. 3 minutes later, SCP-1762-1 had been restored to its original state. The words, "Here be dragons," were replaced with the words, "We were dragons." The Jabberwocky event was declared concluded with this occurrence. Addendum 3. Since the end of the Jabberwocky event, SCP-1762 has shown no further anomalous properties and has been declared neutralized. SCP-1762-1 and 3 deceased instances of SCP-1762-2 now reside in researcher Yoshihiro Taka. Now reside in researcher Yashihiro Takanaka's office of the Now reside in researcher Yashihiro Takanaka's Takanaka. Do without. Now reside in researcher Yashishiro. Now reside in researcher Yoshiro Takanaka's office for commemorative purposes. Addendum 1762-4 Update December 31st, 2015. After nearly 8 years of inactivity, researcher Takanaka reported SCP-1762-1 began emitting purple smoke and spontaneously opened at 2300 hours. Falling to the floor, it dislodged a single chunk of crystal, later identified as amethyst, and a large leather-bound book. The contents of this book appear to detail various species that once lived within the world of SCP-1762-2. though from what the author has written, all organisms mentioned are likely extinct. This book is now classified as 1762-BOL-1. The amethyst crystal has the following words carved into it. One last time. After falling, SCP-1762-1 continuously emitted smoke for the next 40 minutes, before ceasing all activity upon trying to pick up. Before ceasing all activity. Upon trying to pick up SCP-1762-1, Tekanaka reported that the box proceeded to disintegrate upon touching it. Its remains are now kept in containment capsule at his office. End of file.
It's quite sad. And a big stretch. Sorry, stretching.
What you think about when you're born into a fire. Let 'em burn it out.
Actually, do know what song I want to play with this. It's not one of the new ones. It's one of the old ones. I think this song will go well with this story. Let me know what you think. Nice and somber. It is quite well written. Okay, so we'll just drag and drop the song in. And do the usual, we'll drop it down in volume. Oop, no, that's not what I wanted. Okay, it's just another random song. You can... So now, we just plonk that in. We chop it off. We peter it out. Like such. I don't really have one. I haven't really read them. Over the years, I've heard about many of them, but it's not something I actively read. Mainly for the reason that Fallen Angel has pointed out that a lot of them weren't particularly well written. So I read a couple and was like, meh, and moved on. So I've known of them, I just haven't sat and read through them. Addendum 1762-2. Document. Okay, same procedure as before. We're removing noise. Nope, nope, stop. That was applying it to both tracks. I just needed it for the first track. If you find a link Fallen, just drop it into the look here channel and I'll give it a look. Or maybe even do it live tomorrow, depending on how long it is. We're going to do a noise gate. Equalization. Nope, that's something wrong there. Okay, if it's the amplify, which is the first step in normalizing it, for it to be an okay normalization, what normally happens is you want between 3 and 4, the volume amplification, but at 2 it's a bit low. But that's normally caused by random massive spikes like that one. So we just go in and we manually normalize that. And now we're into the 3 range. Because the normalization can only do so much. So if you have a peak that is way too high, your end result is going to be off in some way. Okay, we just need to lower the volume by 1.4. And then chop off the peaks. Off what they're ahead. Might as well have some music in the background. Cool, thanks. Thank you very much. Okay, so we've got a pretty solid
Addendum 1762-2. Documentation of the Jabberwocky event. Document 1762-1. Date obtained unknown of unknown 2004.
And then the last one is just speeding it up or slowing it down relative to talking speed. We're looking at, that was 1,126 words. .126 gives me 1,126 gives me 436 seconds. Okay, so now this is what happens when you change the tempo.
Later,
let me just mute that.
Later identified as amethyst.
So that's normal speed. If I change the speed by 5%.
Later identified as amethyst at a large leather-bound book.
You can hear that the speed went up, the pitch went way up. And if I speed it down by 5%.
Later identified as amethyst
You
at
can
a
hear that the
large
pitch is quite low.
leather-bound book.
So what tempo does is it tries to use other means.
Later identified as amethyst.
So that's the
at a
same
la-
5%.
Later identified.
It sounds a bit higher in pitch, but it's not too bad. And it's nowhere near as bad as the speeding it up.
Later identified as amethyst at a large leather-bound book.
So that's why I use the change tempo rather than the change speed. Which is basically doing a speed up and a pitch shift back down. So that it tries to sound kind of normal. Okay, so there we go. We've got our, whoops, nope. Unmute. Take you out. Gonna drop you down, fade out.
31st, 2015. After ceasing all activity. Upon trying to pick up SCP-1762-1, Tekanaka reported that the box proceeded to disintegrate upon touching it. Its remains are now kept in containment capsule in his office. End of file.
Okay, we'll just do a quick once over for any spikes in between.
Addendum. This
Normally it happens at the beginning of a sentence. Now with the rock music it doesn't stand out much, but with the instrumental, soft, classical music, I think you would call it, fantasy type music, the click will stand out a lot more as unnatural, like the
document 7.
we just give it a, and then
We
now that has caused we do that when every one of us speaks, we click like that, but our brains filter it out and it's not that loud. But because of how microphones work and the editing process, it boosts that sound more so than all the other sounds because of the normalization.
We love you. We will not forget you. We're scared.
Because I'm pretty sure you didn't hear those clicks when I was speaking the first time.
End of file.
Okay, and that is an SCP done. All we have to do now to make a video out of this is addendums or whatever. My bad spelling doesn't matter when naming files. Only thing that would matter now is recording an intro and an outro and then making a backdrop for the video. And then we'd have an entire 15-minute video, or close to 15-minute video. Morning, Typhoon. How you doing? I'm at full HP this morning. I had a rest period, so my rest bonus has applied. I'm not sure how my HP will do later today, though, but I might have to do a sanity check, to be quite honest. With 8 hours of no power. How you doing? Greetings, Iraq. How you doing? Okay, we're going to quickly record an intro. We'll use the standard outro. I use pretty much the standard outro for all my videos. Then this will be a standard intro for all SCPs. So, here we go. No, we don't need it that big. We don't need that open. Should have exported that. No.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this video exploring the wonders that is the SCP Foundation. If you're curious as to what that is, have a look down below for a description. But if you wish to support the channel, there are links to do so down below as well, including merch, a separate channel, and even a Patreon. Ooh, exciting. Anyways, now on to the files. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you at the end.
Yeah, I'm racing the power outage. I mean, it's daytime, so you can still do stuff. Power outages at night are a pain in the ass.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this video exploring the wonders that is the SCP Foundation. If you're curious as to what that is, have a look down below for a description. If you wish to support the channel, there are links to do so down below as well, including merch, a separate channel, and even a Patreon. For those inclined, there is a Discord, a separate channel. For those inclined, there is a Discord, and even a Patreon. Ooh, exciting. Anyways, now on to the files. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you at the end.
There we go. Plug the Discord server. Yeah, you need to sound excited about it. I don't know what else to say. The intrigue of the files.
Exploring the wonders.
I was just making it up in my head as I went along, so the word choice is just random.
Exploring the wonders that is the SCP.
Intrigue. I think intrigue would actually be a better word. Yeah, it's doing corrective maintenance. They're trying to fix a problem that happened last week that caused us to not have power for 12 hours. So it's not always planned. The 12-hour one wasn't planned.
Welcome to this video exploring the intrigue of the SCP Foundation and all of its associated files.
Yeah.
Exploring the intrigue of the SCP Foundation and all of its associated files. Exploring all the intrigue and mystery of the SCP Foundation and all of its files. To this video, exploring all the intrigue and mystery of the SCP Foundation. Exploring the intrigue and mystery of one of the files from the Foundation for secure, contain, and protect. Exploring the intrigue and mystery of one of the files from the Foundation for secure, contain, and protect. Exploring the intrigue and mystery of one of the files from the Foundation for secure, contain, and protect.
Well, that would still be mystery and intrigue.
Exploring the intrigue and mystery of one of the files from the Foundation. Exploring one of the files contained.
That's true. But I'm trying to think of how to word it nicely.
To this video containing the file.
Well, yeah.
Containing a file.
Intros always take this long, but I take this time because it's got to be the same intro and all the things. So I try to make it as generic as possible.
Welcome to this video exploring one of the files buried by the organization SCP or Secure, Contain, Protect Foundation. Exploring one of the files buried by the organization SCP or Secure, Contain, Protect Foundation. Detailing the exploits of the SCP Foundation. Detailing the exploits of the Delving into the hidden files of the recently dissolved SCP Foundation. Delving into the hidden files of the recently dissolved SCP Foundation. Delving. Delving into one of the hidden files of the SCP Foundation. Delving into one of the files of the SCP Foundation. Delving into one of the files suppressed by the SCP Foundation.
There you go. That gets rid of the spoilery part, but also doesn't.
The files suppressed by the SCP Foundation.
Because it was suppressed by the SCP Foundation, why isn't it suppressed now?
To this video, delving into one of the files suppressed by the SCP Foundation. If you're curious as to what that is, have a look down below for a description. If you wish to support the channel, there are links to do so down below as well, including merch, our separate channel, For those inclined, there is a Discord and even a Patreon. Ooh, exciting. Anyways, now on to the files. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you at the end.
I think we're good.
Greetings ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this video delving into one of the files suppressed by the SCP Foundation. If you're curious as to what that is, have a look down below for a description. If you wish to support the channel, there are links to do so down below as well, including merch, our separate channel, for a description. For those inclined, there is a Discord and even a Patreon. Ooh, exciting. Anyways, now on to the files. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you at the end. By the way, if you don't subscribe, the SCP will come and kidnap you in your sleep and put you in a containment cell. Have fun. By the way, if you don't subscribe, the SCP will come and kidnap you in your sleep and put you in a containment cell. Have fun.
Just a blammo at the end there for people to subscribe. Lull them into a false sense of security.
And I'll see you at the end. By the way, if you don't subscribe, the SCP will come and kidnap you in your sleep and put you in a containment cell. Have fun.
I think I'll use this little instrumental as part of my intro. And that was number 8. I don't normally put music on my intro, but we're about experimenting in this live stream. Experimenting with new stuff.
And I'll see you at the end. By the way, if you don't subscribe, the a separate channel. For those inclined, there is a Discord and even a Patreon. Ooh, exciting. Anyways, now on to the files. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you at the end. By the way, if you don't subscribe, the SCP will come and kidnap you in your sleep and put you in a containment cell. Have fun. We'll do that, and I think we'll throw an effect on here just because we're cheesy like that. With a distortion. Have fun. No. And we'll do a pitch shift down. So we want -5.
Have fun.
Subscribe, the SCP will come and kidnap you in your sleep and put you in a containment cell.
Have fun.
Nah. Not feeling that. Yeah, it's because it was recorded separately.
The end. By the way, if you don't subscribe, the SCP will come and kidnap you in your sleep and put you in.
What we can do is just temper the pitch shift the whole thing down by probably 0.25. No, that was the wrong 0.25. Minus 0.25.
At the end. By the way, if you don't subscribe, the SCP will come and kidnap you in your sleep and put you in a containment cell. Have fun.
And then we'll pitch shift that down by 15. We can do that.
Cell.
That's the wrong direction. So what we can do is do that. We can want to slow this down, actually. Speed. We're going to slow it down by 15%.
Have fun.
Then... Oop, no, that was the wrong button. That was still the wrong button.
Have fun.
So we're going to slow it down a lot. Speed. 25%. We'll do it.
Cell.
Have fun.
Right, so we got that. Then what we're going to do is
Have fun. Have fun.
add a bit of an echo.
Have fun.
Make it sound like it's in a hollow room.
Have fun. Have fun. Have fun. Have fun.
Give it a bit more rumble.
Have fun.
There we go.
Put you in a containment cell.
Have fun.
Right, and then we're going to echo it.
Have fun. Have fun. Fun.
I think what we do with that, then, I think we'll pitch shift it up by 15.
Have fun.
It's going to make me laugh every single time.
Have fun. Have fun.
What I sound like when I'm talking and stub my toe.
Have fun. Have
Fun.
Have
Fun.
Have
Fun.
Have
Fun.
Have
Fun.
Have
Fun.
Have
Fun.
Have
Fun.
There we go. Nope, nope, come back.
Have fun.
There we go. Kind of like the mask is slipping off.
Have fun.
Nope, that's a bit too much.
Have fun. Have fun.
Cell. In a containment cell.
Have fun.
So we do that, and then we add in an echo, I think.
Have fun. Have fun. Have fun. Have fun. Have fun.
Containment cell.
Have fun. Have fun. Have fun. Have fun.
I think that works. I think we'll just do that.
Containment cell.
Have fun.
Just drop it at sudden
In a
silence.
containment cell.
Have fun. Have fun. Have fun. Have fun.
Maybe add in a bit of an evil laugh. Let me just... That's true.
Fun. Fun.
No, that doesn't work.
Fun. Fun.
Have fun.
Fun. Fun. Fun.
Okay, we'll leave it like that. We can deepen that. Right. Pitch down. Let's go with 10. See how that feels. Nope, that is the wrong way. Although it was funny. Now I want to know what the rest of it sounds like. Pitch 10. I like that. I think we'll leave the laugh. We'll drop that down. No, that's not the one I wanted. Pitch. Okay, so I think we're going to leave it like that. I'm liking this. I'm going to pitch shift that up by 10. I think the problem was I pitch shifted it up and then down, which also distorts it. I'm going to pitch shift this down by 15. Nope, that's but not quite there. Pitch it down by 10. Okay, and then we're gonna. I like the laugh with the shifting pitches. So we're gonna go. Every second one is low. Every second one is high. Or every odd and even. And then that was plus 10. And that one's plus 10. And that one's plus 10.
Kidnap you in your sleep and put you in a containment cell.
Yeah, that sounds weird. Choking on water. Okay. So save as Z dash SCP's intro. I do Z so that it appears at the end of a list all the time. We can change that. Just save it for now in case the power goes out. Yeah, I can saw that.
Cell.
That works. You could sit here for the whole day playing with this, but I don't have the whole day. We'll use this one until we come up with a better one. Right, so that is an intro. I'll just use my standard outro for the other side of this, which would be audio output. And then audio output to the SCP. Right. We're just going to do a simple edit on GIMP for our backdrop. We're going to use this one as a base. Layer, paste. I just want... Oh, let's not do that. Just delete that. Undo, undo. New layer. Paste. Move that. Over. Nope, nope. Come back. Come back. Have you? Right. And then all I want actually is just this section. I'm going to paste it over here. What are you doing? There. Like that. Scale it. Like such. Drop it at the top. We don't need that text. Blammo. We don't need that text. Blammo. And this. That's true. It's only that end part that makes it weird. I can just cut that off. That laugh is what makes it weird. Otherwise, it's very generic. I think we're going to go with a standard, very unimpressive black background. Okay. No, why did you do that? Right. You go there. Like that. Yes, like that. Just like that. We'll smoothen you up. Drop you up at the top there. I can do that. Colors, invert. Problem is, invert is going to make it mostly white. Oh, you mean the text? Don't worry, I'll do the text in the normal way. What I am doing is just copying that. I'm going to delete that layer. No, that layer I only copied so that I could get the symbol. That layer is going away. Really? That is, of course, when I'm not messing it up. What have I done? Music. Music. Go. Make this exciting. So people don't realize how boring I am. Go. So we have the SCP Foundation. Although I suppose what we can do is take that. Nope, 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 don't do that. Put that down here. Take this. So now we have a nice background. We've got the SCP up there. We can chop this. Don't actually need that section of it. We can just type that in with actual text and just take the symbol, enlarge it a bit. I might be making this a bit more complicated than it needs to be. No, I might be. I am making this more complicated than it needs to be. Okay. Let's do this again. Layer, delete, paste. No, the image. It's a high resolution picture of this exact same thing. Supposedly. No. What are you doing, computer? Oh, that's strange. It's not doing the copy thing properly. So you're going to documents. Yeah. It's nothing like live streaming something to make you look bad at something. Although that would be implying, that's why. Right. It's because it's Alfred. So if I take away the background and paste it, we shall see it. Nope. But if we drag and drop it, we shall see it. There we go. Right. I'm gonna put you over there. We're gonna scale you up, down, left, right there. I think a bit smaller in the center. Delete that. Then I think what we'll do is select on the correct layer that, pour in some white, blammo, magic select that, pour in some white, blammo. And then if we open this layer again, it should look better. No, wrong layer. So something like that. Hey Red Jackal, how you doing? Right, then a text over here. We can write SCP in a 50 font with a white thing. And then underneath it, Foundation. In a 35 font. Also, no, I want you bigger, you smaller. You can be 50. You can be 25. I'm doing okay, thanks. Busy getting ready for an 8-hour power outage. Okay, this white up here is looking a bit ragged, so we're going to use the good old favorite tool. Just smooth it out a touch. Not perfect, but doesn't look quite as ragged around the edges. Which for such a high DPI original image is quite janky. Yeah, it is. Okay, so then underneath here, over here, we'll add in the text when we're doing the video editing, and then we'll have our spectrograph over here. So that works, just plain. We're going to SCP dash banner. So instead of doing a normal stream, we did an SCP reading. Because why not? Go away. Export. Alrighty. Now some of you who were here yesterday will remember the next piece of software, which is Shortcut. It is our editing piece of software. And this is SCP 1672. We are going to go for video thumbnails, the usual intro, the outro, and then the SCP one. Then we're going to go to the audio, which is audio output, SCP. I'm gonna grab the intro, outro, and thing. We didn't export the other one, which was SCP, long forms, addendums. We didn't export to MP3, which we'll quickly do. Okay, add in the addendum.
Addendum 17.
Change this to a 1080 30 fps. There we go. So we've got descriptions, then addendum. Got an outro at the beginning. We need an intro. Okay. So then we've got an intro
Bandlegents, and welcome to this video.
where we're going to edit out the evil weirdy laugh.
You in a containment cell. Subscribe, the SCP will come and kidnap you in your sleep and put you in a containment.
Right, the weird laughter is not there. I'm going to use the same addendum, the same picture, but what we're going to do, because it's two different files, we'll have the same image twice so that the files don't become disjointed when we do the text. Yesterday's one was one audio file. Today it's two. And then an outro at the end, like such. So going back to the first file, which is the description, we're going to add a filter called text simple. And we're going to move the text, because I don't have one, here, like such. This is going to be called SCP-1672. I think we'll do it in a light yellow, like a yellowing. Like such. And then we're going to save this. Nope, cancel. Save this as SCP. Then we are going to find the beginning point.
1762. Item number SCP-1762. Object class
1762. 1672. Whatever. Okay, then we are going back to the website, going back to the original one, and we're copying this into Notepad. Everybody has suggested using Control-Shift-Paste to get rid of the formatting. It doesn't work in the video editor. So I'd have to copy and paste it either into Notepad or Word. So might as well just do it in Notepad. And back to our this. We're gonna add text, not text. Rich. Scrolling. Paste. Center 40. Looks good. Looks good. Tie into the first.
object class
Right, and then at the end
of file. Walkie event.
over there, just move it down. Probably be about 8,000, if I had to guess. Wrong. 4 3750. That's good. Thankfully, with this one, the speed at which I read it should be pretty consistent.
762-2 have been deemed harmless. They should not be allowed to exit their containment unit.
Just make sure the text lines up.
It to be empty.
But when, like I said,
2-1.
pure narration, I'm pretty consistent. Or I try to be at least.
Search from SCP-1762. Interact playfully with any nearby. After approximately closes once all SCP appearance are being compiled.
Okay, so that makes sure that the whole audio file for the first one is in sync. And then we'll do the same for the second one.
1762-2 Documentation of the Jabberwocky event.
Right, and then we add in text again. Simple, but this time we have a preset of SCP. And then we add in text rich. And scrolling preset. I'm gonna add that to Notepad. Then that. Then a keyframe.
And are now kept in containment capsule in his office.
Minus 15,000. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. 9, 5, 6, 7. There we go.
Though our room is as grand as ever, paper were expelled from forgotten. Examination. SCP-1762-1 continued to maybe one day your family can build another room. It is so sad that we...
Oh, no, that was the wrong way. 4.
It is so sad that we can't share them any longer.
I have no idea what I did there.
Build each other's bad that we can. Knuckles office for commemorative.
Alrighty. So then we've got the text for the first one and second one aligned. Got an outro, got an intro.
One of the files
Total time 14 minutes 33 seconds. We just need to add the spectrogram. And I'm going to add it as, I think, the normal one.
SCP-1762. Item number SCP.
I think we might even go with a yellowed look. Like old documents and parchment, which would be a bit creamy as well.
SCP-1762. Item number SCP-1762. Object class safe, neutralized. Special containment procedures. SCP-1762-1 is held in a standard containment unit in Site Unknown. During the periods when SCP-1762-1 releases SCP-1762-2, video logs are to be recorded for future research. Although instances of SCP-1762-2 have been deemed harmless, they should not be allowed to exit their containment unit.
Okay. We'll add that as SCP. the preset SCP. Now we just need to
So,
make sure that that or that starts at the beginning, ends at the end.
in your sleep and put you in a containment cell. SCP-1762. Item number SCP-1762. Object class safe, neutralized. Special.
Okay. And that's basically the video. We'll export it. We'll stretch. We'll stare longingly at my empty cup of coffee. And then we'll export it as an MP3. Doot MP3. And I shall look at Discord. Busy looking at the Discord. That's pretty cool. Oh. That's a cool image. There's a lot of work it's gotten into that paper dragon. For those that want to see what I'm looking at. It is a paper dragon. Rawr, rawr, kill you, attack, rawr, rawr. So this will be released at 9 o'clock when I have no power. Thankfully, I do have a gas stove, so I will be able to make a coffee. It's pretty much my biggest concern in life. Hey Typhoon, how you doing? Welcome to the Discord. Make me one what? I was only half paying attention to what I was saying, so sorry. Oh, the origami dragon. Yeah, I can take that image and alter it. If it's from the wiki, which the link looked like it was from the wiki, then it should fall under Creative Commons. What I was thinking more for the thumbnail would be something along the lines of this. Reason why I don't want to use that specifically, I mean, it's a great image and it's a great idea, but specifically is because it gives away the story. And I don't really want to give away the story. So what we're going to do is take a generic picture of an old ratty file, like such. Plaster it in the middle there. Then we're going to do a magic select on the background. Nope, 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 nope. Something like that. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. I do know it's watermarked, but I am customizing it. Why a picture of a folder is watermarked, I don't know. Why is this watermarked? It's funny, there's two pictures. There's one with a watermark and there's one without. What we're going to do then is add a new layer at 96%. We're going to color that black. This new layer, select everything, black. Make it look old. Then what we're going to do is put puffs of white in. And black in the background, like that. Like that. That one. We'll make it look like it's parchment. What am I doing? Some of that. Stained, ratty. Hello? I don't want that. Oh, I'm smudging, that's why. Just darken that. Make it look like it's old. Especially around the corners. Going to add in some shadow, give it a bit of depth. Swap over to something like that. This will kind of make it look like it's a bit thicker, with the light is coming from the one side. And the top can be a bit thicker, and the bottom can be a bit blacker. That. I'm gonna add in some junk over here just to give it a bit of texture. That and that. Also gonna add some red for blood with a bit of that. Just make this look worn and old. Yeah, blood red, some old blood, which is actually brown, not red. More textures, like that. Some smearing, make it look like an old ratty file. Then at the back here, we're going to smear it out. Smooth it out with this. And once we add that in, it should give it a nice dark look. Just smooth this out a bit. A bit bigger. Or something like that. And then on the top here, add a new layer. And this will be in Times New Roman. Kicking it old school typewriter style. With a barking dog, as always. And SCP. Oh, we want that in black. Solid black. Over here. It'll be 1762. And you will be black as well. Actually, probably white would look better. So, something like that as a thumbnail. Although it could used to be a bit darker around the edges. And go with black. We're gonna go with spray paint. We're gonna go with sure. Go with a bit bigger tool. Kind of smooth that out a bit. Okay, and like that. Okay, a little black over there. Black over there. What we can do is also go in here. What do I want? I want that one. Give it a bit of a singed look. Nothing too terrible. I mean, it is a bit abstract, and rather than being perfectly imaged, it's more of an abstract piece. Because abstract is easy for my dumbass to do. Smooth that out. Not happy with that or that. That I'll put a border around, so we add in another layer. Many much layers. Okay, 1762. We're gonna go blah. We're gonna blah. Grow. Nope, that's not what I want. From path. Grow. And in black, we're just gonna not do that. Just drop that in there. So hopefully when you're zoomed out, you see 1672. I suppose we can make that bigger. I think we should make that bigger, should I say. Both that and the SCP. We'll do that. So that it's more legible on a smaller screen. Want to extend the thing there. Text from path. On path, grow, flammo, and splammo. And then we can see that nicely. Take this line out of the way. So on the smaller screens, you'll be able to see the number nicely. Just expand the SCP. Just above it. With an underline as well. Just make it a bit bigger. Like such. I think over here, what we'll do is oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Not even remotely what I wanted to do. Confidential. Is that how you spell confidential? That is not how you spell confidential. Right, confidential. We're gonna hit that in a nice bright red. And we're going to then rotate that. Move it. And then take a pencil with black ink and a normal hard filter with a harsher. Cross that out. So something like that as a quick thumbnail. And that way I can just replace the SCP number for the thumbnail, which speeds up the process. Okay, so we're gonna save this as SCP XCF thumbnail blank. Blank. And we're going to export it to a new file called SCP thumbnails. And this is going to be 1672 1762 1762. Right, and our thing is finished exporting, so we should be able to upload it, which I'm not going to show on stream because it'll show all my channel details. Upload video. Only a 600 meg file, but my stream might get a bit jittery. I also desperately need another cup of coffee, so I'll be right back while that does its thing. Actually, second thought, I don't need to keep the stream going to have my thing upload. It's just going to get in the way anyway. So that is going to be the end of the stream. The video will be up. Hopefully I can get it set up and uploaded before I lose power. So if you see it at 9 o'clock, then I managed to do it. If you don't see it at 9 o'clock, then yeah, I didn't. But I will do it as soon as I can. Other than that, thank you all for popping past this very not gamey stream. I hope you enjoyed. This gives you a kind of view as to the process that I used to create a video. That's roughly, 2 hours for a 15-minute video, which is quite quick, all things considered. Hope you have a good day, and I will see you all later. Cheers.